Hi, everybody. Paige and I just got back from India, and we had an amazing time.
We really
We
did.
want to thank all of you that supported us and
Amen.
helped us go.
Yeah.
The labor that we're doing goes to your account.
Yes.
And we had an amazing time. Pastor Sanjeeva was the host pastor in India. We actually met him in Thailand, and he'd never flown before in his life. And the Lord just put it on his heart to come to this conference in Thailand, and that's where we met. And I didn't realize he was in my classes, all my classes that I taught in Thailand. And he just kind of stuck to me. And, I guess that's a good word we can say. He's just stuck to us. And he invited us to come to his country, to come to India, Hyderabad, and have a pastor's conference there. And we did. He has a small church, 85 people, mostly women and children. And so it was small, but he said he wanted us to come and have a vertical conference there. So we did.
And it was our first vertical conference outside of the U.S.
Yeah, and to our surprise, he had 130 pastors that came to this conference. So we had an amazing time. Actually, 30 pastors were filled with the Holy Spirit, and all at once. We didn't have to lay hands on all 30 of them. Laid hands on the first one, and all of them got filled.
Yeah.
So
well, you said, now begin to speak, and you told Pastor Sanjeeva, because he was the interpreter, you said, tell him, you were talking to the one on the end that we started with.
Right.
You said, tell him to speak. And when he said, okay, now speak, open your mouth and speak, they all started speaking, all 30 of them.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
So we had a phenomenal trip. It was a short trip, but very effective. We ministered all day Friday, all day Saturday, and then we ministered in his church Sunday, and then went to the orphanage on Monday. And he has 30 orphans from 7 to 17, and we just really have on our hearts to want to help them.
Yeah.
And you can share a little bit on that.
Yeah,
if you want to.
so they have 15 girls ages 7 to 17, and then also 15 boys same age, starting with 7 up to 17.
Oh.
And the girls all sleep in one bedroom. They don't have a bed, and they sleep on the concrete floor. No pillow, just a blanket.
Yeah.
They're well clothed and well fed. Of course, they only get meat like 3 times a week. And then the boys, the same situation. They're in one room, and it's about a 10 by 10 room, probably. And they all sleep on the floor as well, and they don't have a pillow. And so these children are just so grateful that they have a place, to stay. And Pastor Sanjeeva and his family have rescued these girls from being sold for sex trafficking.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for him and his family, they would be out on the streets. And so it's really neat what they're doing there in India and Hyderabad. And it was a great trip. We saw camels on the side of the road just walking.
And we've been in a lot of traffic jams.
Yeah.
In Malaysia, they call it the jam.
Yeah.
And we've been in the jam in Malaysia. I've been in the jam in China, but I have never seen a jam like India.
Yeah.
It is amazing. You have
crazy.
2 lanes, which is supposed to be for 2 cars, but 2 lanes become 7 lanes.
Yeah.
And the honking of the horn is almost like bumper cars.
Yeah.
Every car, you look up, they all have dents. And they're just inches apart, just moving.
Yeah.
We've got two conditions in India. You have a moving jam and a standing jam. And there's never no jam.
Yeah.
So anyway, you can kind of imagine what we're talking about. But it's I think you'd have to see it to really believe what it was like. Because it took us an hour from the hotel to get to his church, and it was only probably maybe 15 miles, and it took us an hour because of the jam. So, but anyway, it's well worth it. We did stay in a good hotel. The food was really good.
Yeah,
we had really good food,
Yeah.
and but very fruitful, and we really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And we just want to thank you for helping us go.
Yeah. Oh, I want to share something else. There was actually, our conference we scheduled it back in August with Pastor Sanjeeva. So he's been preparing, and what he's been doing every month is having these pastors come for breakfast, and he's just speaking into them and getting them excited to have this conference and host this conference.
Yeah.
Really encouraging them to come. And what he did was amazing, because they're out in the middle of nowhere. And a lot of these pastors rode on a bus for 6 to 10 hours to get to the meeting. And he also had them stay the night in his house and in the church, so they wouldn't, they would have a place to stay because they traveled so far. And just to see Pastor Sanjeeva's heart and what he's doing for these pastors, just really encouraging them. And they actually had scheduled, somebody told the other pastors that there was, I think it was it was Billy Graham's daughter coming in to do a crusade. And a lot of his pastors said, hey, we want to go hear her, and I don't blame him,
Right.
And so Pastor Sanjeeva said, no, we have had this scheduled since August. You've committed to this. You come. And he said, we'll release you early and let you go. And so Friday at 3 o'clock, we stopped, and Pastor Sanjeeva said, okay, those of you that want to go on and go to the crusade. And not one of those pastors left. And that was really cool that they wanted to stay and be with us. And they were just so hungry for the word.
And God really ministered to them.
Yeah.
They would just, they just really enjoyed it. They said a lot of the American missionaries are boring.
Yeah.
And they weren't really looking forward to us coming. And they said we were not boring. So
thank God.
thank God. Yeah, he says some of the American missionaries, they're just going to sleep.
I'll tell you, it's the word. The word's not boring. And,
right.
When you minister the word and I mean, it just lights were going off. It really touched them, and they really got it. So
Amen.
we're excited to hear the testimonies. Pastor Sanjeeva is going to put together a video, and
with the testimonies.
of some of the pastors, and it's things they've never heard before, things that we take for granted.
That's right.
Living by faith. And so anyway, we just really want to keep speaking into these pastors and the orphans as well.
Right.
So.
Amen. Well, we're going to end it here, but there's more updates coming.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. God bless you.
Amen. God bless you.